Lesson number 1, Dialogue B, an accident. So in this dialogue, a jeune homme, that's an young man, volant de la voiture, driving the car, a renversé une dame au carrefour. So a young man driving the car had knocked down a lady in the junction. The word carrefour is junction. Une foule bloque la circulation. A crowd is blocking the traffic and un gendarme se présente sur l'accident. A policeman is present in the scene of accident scene or scene of accident. So circulation is traffic. So jeune homme, which is a young man, volant de la voiture, driving the car, had knocked down the young lady, okay, just a lady at the junction. A crowd is now blocking the traffic. So let's see what happens in the accident scene. So there are 4 characters: the gendarme, which is the policeman, the témoin, who is the witness, the person who saw the accident is the witness, and the chauffeur, who is the driver, and the dame is the lady who fell down hit by a car. Then gendarme says, "Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? What happened?" Then the witness replied, "This young man had knocked down the poor lady." But the chauffeur was like surprised. He says, "Mais non, elle a traversé la rue sans faire attention. She crossed the street." Traverser is to cross. She crossed the street without paying any attention. Then the dame says, "Ce n'est pas vrai, sans blague. Monsieur, ce jeune homme a grillé le feu rouge." Monsieur, this man had jumped the red signal. Vous n'avez pas bien appris le code. Have you not read the road rules properly? Vous avez le permis? Do you even have the license? So the lady clearly says, "Sir, no, this man had jumped the red signal. Grillé le feu rouge." Feu rouge is red signal. He jumped the red signal, and she also asked him, "Vous n'avez pas bien appris le code." The code is the road rules. You haven't read the road rules? And do you have the license? Permis is license. Then the chauffeur says, "Madam, look at the signal. Look at the signal. The rouge clignotes. The red is blinking." Clignote is to blink. The red is blinking. Il ne marche pas. It is not working. On regarde avant de traverser la rue. But one must look before crossing the street. Vous avez couru comme une fool. You ran like a mad in the middle of the street, au milieu de la rue. So he clearly says, "No, see madam, the signal, look at the signal, the red is blinking and it is not working. Ne marche pas is not working. And also one should look before crossing the street. And you ran like a mad in the middle of the street." Mad, and this au milieu is in the middle of the street. And the witness says, "No, c'est la faute de chauffeur." He clearly doesn't support the chauffeur. He says that it is the mistake of the driver. Il a conduit à toute allure. He drove at a huge speed and n'a pas ralenti la voiture, and did not slow down the car. Then the chauffeur says, "Monsieur, je dois partir maintenant. I have to leave now because j'ai un rendez-vous important. I have an important meeting. I need to leave right now because I have a very important meeting." And the policeman says, "Mais là, but you see, ce n'est pas une excuse. That's not an excuse for knocking down someone." Okay. Puisque elle est blessée, as she is hurt, okay, blessée is wounded, nous devons appeler une ambulance. We need to call a ambulance. This girl is hurt and we have to call the ambulance. So this is an accident, which is the second dialogue in lesson number 1. The young man, who's a jeune homme driving the car, had knocked down the lady in the junction, which is a carrefour. A crowd is blocking the traffic, and the policeman is present in the scene of accident. Now the dialogue between the policeman, witness, the driver, and the lady. So, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? What happened? And the witness says, this young man had knocked down the lady, poor lady. And the chauffeur says, no, she crossed the road without being careful. The lady replies, that's not true. No kidding. This man, sir, this man had jumped the signal. And she also asked that man, you haven't learned your road rules well. Do you even have the license? And the chauffeur says, madam, look at the signal. It is blinking. It's not working. And one has to look before crossing the road. You ran like a mad in the middle of the road. But the witness interrupts and says, no, it is not. It's the fault of the driver. He was only driving in full speed and he couldn't slow down the car. But the chauffeur was very impatient. He says, sir, I have to leave immediately because I have an important meeting. But the policeman says, no, that's not an excuse for knocking down someone. And also, since this lady is hurt, we need to call an ambulance. This is lesson number 1, dialogue B.